Making a movie and TV show is an incredibly difficult and lengthy process. And making a good movie and TV show is even more difficult. Throughout the whole process, just doing one part badly can classify your whole movie as bad. If the pacing is wrong, the movie becomes uncomfortable to watch. If the acting is bad, the whole immersion is ruined. And if your movie has bad editing, cinematography, plot holes, or just disgusting characters, then the movie gets a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, and you die. Pixar, though, doesn't make bad movies. Some of the best animated movies of all time are made by Pixar. I'm talking Toy Story, Ratatouille, Wall-E, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Ratatouille 2, The Rat is Back, and so many more amazing movies from our childhood. Hey, wait a second! Is that a train of great Pixar movies? And is that Cars 2 in that train of great Pixar movies? Well, actually, that's just a random train of Pixar movies, but I mean, technically, it is a train of great Pixar movies, you know, because they're all great. But now that you mention it, Cars 2 is one of the most hated Pixar movies ever. I often hear about people calling it awful, dumb, and boring. But is it really that bad? I decided to investigate further than just things I saw online and actually talk to real people that I know and see what they think.
I thought Cars was a bit underrated. Sure, it had some weird moments, like when a car literally shot himself on the stage. We also have just the spy aspect, which is a bit weird, but it worked. And I personally think whatever the car's name was, something Mick.
Finn.
Yeah, McFinn was kind of hot. You can all agree on that.
So what would you rate the movie?
I would rate it a nice 8 out of 10.
It was a great movie. Featured the first car murder in history with living cars, but also it featured bird planes. Bird planes. It was amazing, and it had such a good twist. The was the murderer, yes, but also there is a moment in the movie where I'm confused. So there is a car with eyes on his headlights, and in previous car movies there was these two women cars who flashed their lights and were supposed to be flashing their nipples by doing that. Does he have eyes on his nipples? Also, we've seen that cars pee oil and they drink oil. Do they drink their own piss? Were there dinosaur cars that turned into fuel and then they eat them and then piss them and then eat it again? And then we cannot forget that there is a plane. They go into the plane. If they go into the cargo hold of the plane, are they putting things into the plane's rectum? Does the plane enjoy it? Do they have car sex? What would be the point of it? Would they have just a drive as people to make a car sex? Because we don't know if they have children. Would coming be more oil? Is the trunk their rectum? Do they have organs in their shells? Do they feel pain? What if their windshield cracks? Are they blind? You sick fucks, Disney. You sick fucks. You bitch.
I think that's all the time we have.
No, you sick bitches, Disney. Disney, you
Wow, interesting. I don't know what they said. I'm recording this before I've asked most of the people. Anyway, I decided to watch Cars 2 to actually see whether or not it was just nostalgia that was making me remember Cars 2 as actually being pretty rad, or if it really is pretty sick. Cars 2 begins with this cool British car on a boat on his way to do some spying. He gets on this oil platform and finds all the baddies checking out the sick new camera. He ziplines to the middle of the room and then gets found almost immediately. He makes an escape and this sick chase scene commences as he shits on the floor to make the car coming after him slip and fall into the ocean, which is a pretty shitty way to die. Finn gets surrounded by the baddies but just drives backwards into the ocean and turns into a boat. These huge ships get dropped down and shoot him with a missile, and Finn dies. JK, he turns into a submarine and escapes. We cut to Mater now on the road helping a car that is broken down. They talk about how Mater never leaks, and then the broken down car mentions that McQueen is coming back into town soon. If you haven't seen Cars 1, somehow you might be a little confused about who these cars are. But in short, McQueen was the protagonist of Cars 1. He's a race car that got stuck in this town due to destroying it, but eventually becomes friends with everyone and especially Mater. Mater and McQueen are best friends, and that's all you really need to know. Mater notices that McQueen is already in town and rushes to greet his friend, almost killing the broken down car in the process. McQueen and Mater have a fun day together, and then McQueen tells Mater that he wants to spend time with his girlfriend. Car friend? Girl car. During the dinner date, Mater is watching TV as it discusses an upcoming race that's hosted by this guy here. This green guy went into the wilderness, got lost, ran out of gas, and when he got back, he turned himself into an electric car and decided he would create a new renewable fuel and make everyone racing use the fuel to showcase that it's just as good as fossil fuel. There's this guy in the race called Francesco, and he's just the best. I just love everything he says, and the voice actor did a great job making everything that comes out of this guy's mouth just so funny somehow.
Francesco Bernoulli!
It is an honor, Signore Dorado, for you.
He roasts McQueen, so Mater calls the station and basically acts like every Kanye stan ever.
Fella you got on there can't talk that way about Lightning McQueen. He's the bestest race car in the whole wide world.
McQueen decides to take part in the race, and so the team goes to Japan where the first race is going to be held. And then we see Finn at the same event meeting up with this car called Holly so they can meet up with another spy who's been in deep undercover with the baddies. Finn can't go meet him though because the baddies that are at the same event have seen Finn before and it's too risky. So he tells Holly that she has to do it instead. And then Mater eats wasabi and then does the ahegao face and then pisses in front of everyone. I mean, hello? Based much? Mater goes to the bathroom and gets tortured by a Japanese toilet when the undercover spy goes in and gets jumped by some stupid stinkers. Mater leaves the toilet and the spy puts the tracker and a photo on him so the baddies don't get it. And then Holly finds Mater and she thinks that Mater is the spy, while the actual spy gets interrogated and the bad guy explains what the camera does. When the camera is facing a car with all-in-all fuel in them and the camera is put at 100% power, the car explodes. Just like me when I have Taco Bell. Alright. While interrogating the spy, they find out that Mater has the photo, and then the spy dies. Yeah, he actually does. Now it's time for the first race of the movie. The race begins and the camera is used for the first time, and then the baddies find Mater in the pits and start going after him. Holly tells Mater to get out of the pits, and Finn basically Batmans all the bad guys before they can get their hands on Mater. Mater and Holly are on the same phone line as McQueen, so Mater accidentally fucks over McQueen in the race. And then McQueen goes over to Mater and is all like, "Fuck you, dumbass!" And so Mater decides he's going to go back home. At the airport, Finn, in disguise, tells Mater to follow him, and then a chase sequence commences. They get on this private jet and escape the baddies, and then they check the photo that the real spy put on Mater. The photo is of this engine that is apparently the engine that belongs to the main bad guy, and Mater notices that the engine is using custom parts. So they go to France to meet up with a guy that sells custom parts. While they're in France, they go through this marketplace and something horrific happens.
Excuse me. What are you selling?
Headlights, monsieur, headlights.
Oh my god! They find the guy that sells custom parts and he immediately tries to escape, but they catch up to him pretty quickly. The custom parts guy tells them about an event which could have the head bad guy that they're trying to get, so Mater goes in undercover. At the same time, the second race, now taking place in Italy, begins. Holly flirts with his tow truck and Mater switches places with him, and then Mater makes his way into this conference room and the big boss gets on a Zoom call with everyone. He explodes some more racers and Holly detects where the camera is, so Finn makes his way there. Finn gets captured and the whole race gets fucked by all the cars that break. And then Mater's disguise breaks and he starts shooting up the whole place. He gets out and makes his way to McQueen to try to warn him, but he gets captured before he has the chance to. Finn, Holly, and Mater are now tied up inside Big Ben and are about to be crushed. The final race begins and it takes place in London. At this point, everybody thinks that all in all is the cause of all the cars exploding, which is correct, but McQueen still decides to use all in all as his fuel of choice, so McQueen is now the main target of the baddies. They reveal that a bomb was snuck in McQueen's pit, not armpit, this kind of pit. The baddies leave Mater and the spies alone, so Mater uses his gun enhancement to escape. The spies are about to be crushed when Holly uses her taser to reverse the clock and escape as well. It turns out that the bomb isn't in the pit, it's in Mater, so Finn warns Mater to not get close to the McQueen as to not blow him up. McQueen attaches himself to Mater, but Mater uses his enhancements to blast away. In the meantime, Finn and Holly are chasing the professor and they catch up to him. It turns out that there's really no way to get rid of the bomb, so Mater gets an idea. He flies over to the Cove, England, and cracks the case. It turns out that the green guy who made All in All is the big boss. He was the lad who peed on the floor. He isn't even an electric car like he says. He was just trying to make alternative fuel look bad. So Green Man deactivates the bomb and all is well. In conclusion, or should I say all in all, LOL. After watching the movie twice now, I enjoyed the movie both times I watched it. Francesco was so fucking funny every single time he was on screen. The action was thrilling, and the movie was just a really fun watch the whole way through. But I mean, of course the movie isn't perfect. The idea for this movie is ridiculous, and it's baffling that they decided to make a spy cars movie, but they did a good job. There were a couple of lines that were a little awkward and clunky though.
Look, it's attached to me. Hey, I know you. You're that fella from the karate demonstration.
Queen's the winner. Francesco's second. And they have no idea what happened behind them.
This is impossible.
That's what I'm talking about. Ka-chow!
What happened? Where are all the other cars?
Oh no, that's Mater's.
But with all that being said, Cars 2 is not a bad film. It's just one of the worst Pixar movies. I realize now that most scores that aren't Rotten Tomatoes say it's alright. It's not getting 0s and 1s. It's got a 6 on IMDb, and that's what I rated Beauty Behind the Madness by The Weeknd. And that album has so many bangers! In reality, I'm not here to say that Cars 2 is a masterpiece. Because no, it's a spy movie with cars, which is an insane idea to come up with. How did they think of that? But I think my real gripe is just with Rotten Tomatoes, because 39%? Are you kidding me? This is bad, because car can't spy. The movie is entertaining. It's still a fucking Pixar movie, and Pixar movies are good. I think if there's one thing I've learned from the making of this video, critic scores are stupid. I would much rather take into account the audience score rather than the critic score, because if the audience score is high, it's a fun movie, and movies first and foremost are entertainment. Sure, there are movies that change the way you think or inspire you by just how much of a masterpiece it is, but not every movie needs to be that. Movies can just be fun. Something to put on and shut your brain off and get engaged in an action-packed and intense roller coaster. Or look at cool explosions and fight scenes and cheer for the good guy. Or simply just watch something to laugh at. When a movie isn't entertaining and rather makes you bored out of your mind, that's what I would classify as a bad movie. So Cars 2 is not a bad movie.